Welcome to your taster class for yin and yang. So this is a combination of holding your poses a little bit faster, so we build up that heat into yang. So we're doing a couple of breaths each pose, building up some heat and some strong breath work and some fires. But then half of the class will be in our yin. So that's where we hold the poses to about 2 to 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the length of space. So let's begin with coming into a child's pose. So bringing the knees nice and wide, touching the toes, lengthening through the hands and rolling the shoulders back. Letting the forehead come towards the ground and just sinking towards the earth for a couple of breaths as you set your intention. Check in with your thoughts and your breath, the quality, the pace, the shape. Just letting go of anything around you and really try to connect to this intention of presence. Last round of breath. We put the spine into a tabletop position, stacking the knees above the hips, the shoulders just above the wrists, just adding a few cat-cows, just warming up the spine, dropping the belly down, arching through the back. Exhale fully as the chin comes towards the chest, push the hands, knees and feet into the floor, doming through the upper back. 2 more rounds, in. Out. In. And out. Adding some big circular movements, feeling into the hips, into the pelvis, into the wrists. So as you're probably doing this at home, really try and connect with what's going on in the body here. So try and free yourself from any distractions around you, any comparisons, maybe closing down your eyes. Figure 8 shapes, you can really tilt to the back, anything you want to do. Flipping the fingertips towards the knees, shifting the weight back and forth. You don't have to go too far. Just find a place where you can find a nice little soft stretch, and then flipping the other fingertips. Sending the hips back and forth. Nice. Just going to do a little bit of warm-up as this is a very short little taster class. So sending the hips up towards the sky, drawing the heels down. Ripple the spine so you come into a plank, bend the knees and the hips back towards the sky. So we're doing some spine waves. Really let the whole spine move with the neck. Exhale. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, bend the knees, hover. Send the hips up. Right leg lifts towards the sky, bend the knee, open up through the hip. Step the foot behind the right knee, open up through the chest, pigeon posture. Maybe send the hips slightly forwards and backwards, find a bit of a shift in weight. You can bring the block behind the hips, lengthen through that spine, open through that chest. Exhale, maybe bring the hands forward, perhaps even use the elbows and take the hands onto the elbows, letting the head come towards the ground. Finding squaring off the hips. If you're feeling this in your knee or your ankle, you can place a bolster underneath your hip again. Come out with the foot maybe closer towards your hips if it hurts your knees. If it really is pinching your knee, I would rather you come into a low lunge and then maybe bring your hands onto the floor or onto the blocks. Just have about 3 more breaths here. In. Out, in, and out. Roll up yourself, take the hands underneath the shoulders, press into that back foot so you lift up through the shin and the knees come towards the floor. Chest and chin for vinyasa option 1, Roll forwards, open up through that chest. Tuck the toes in, lift the kneecaps. Exhale, untuck the toes, send the hips back to a child's pose, and then down facing dog. 2 long breaths here. Roll the shoulders, find your lengthening. Bend the knees as much as you need. Maybe taking one heel down and the other. 2. 3. Lengthen your left leg up. Bend the knee, open up through the hip. Step that left knee behind that left wrist. Maybe the right foot comes towards the right wrist. Roll the shoulders back. Find your pigeon or your low lunge for 3 breaths. In, out, in, out. 2. Untuck the back toes. Use the hands to lift your torso up. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. Now press into your left shin, knee, and the back toes, stepping back. Vinyasa option 2 is the knees are lifted. Your halfway lift. Chaturanga, untuck the toes, shift your weight forwards, up dog, keeping the knees lift off the ground. Roll over the toes and then lengthen through the spine. Looking between the ankles, shins, for 3 breaths. Right leg lifts, bend the knee, open up through that hip. Step the foot between the hands and lower that left knee down. Untuck the toes, bring the hands up towards the sky, open up through that chest. Staying here for 3 breaths, keep the pelvis nice and square and try and lift through the inner thighs. Push your focus point past that fingertips. Last one. And exhale, take both of your blocks or books at home, whatever you have. Send the hips back so your hips are square, the toes lift up. Lengthen through that chest. And then exhale, forward fold, hinge over the hips. Find your half split. 2. 3. Roll over the foot, lengthen the hands up towards the sky, open up through that chest. Exhale, forward fold, send the hips back. Lengthen through that spine. 2 more pulses. Inhale, open up, squeeze the Mulabandha, your root chakra. Exhale, down. So that's the lock between the thighs. And take the hands back to front of the right foot, step back. Vinyasa option, hover down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, down, facing dog. Left leg rises. Bend the knee, open up through that hip. Step the foot between the hands, lower that right knee down. Breathe in, open up through that chest. Low lunge, untap the toes, lifting here for 1. Squeezing it in the thighs. If you have a really soft, open back, try and keep that engagement in. 2, keep the ribs in. Soften the shoulders. 3. Place the hands onto the floor, half your split. You don't have to use the blocks if you have the space. You just want to keep that left hip back, finding those shoulders back, opening through that chest to the front for 2, and then hinge over. 3. 'Come into that low lunge, taking your hands up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the elbows down and cactus shape the arms open this time. Exhale, lengthen through the arms, hinge over the hip, gently with control. Inhale, use that hip flexor as you roll open through the chest, shine in the heart. Exhale, roll over with control. Last one. In, bringing it all up. Exhale. Take the hands from that left foot, step back. Plank, hover down through vinyasa, breathe in, open through that chest. Breathe out, send the hips back down, facing dog. Let's bring the knees towards the center, either a child's pose or come to finish our little taster video, bringing the heart down. So just a few rounds of breath in normal, natural breath. Try not to control the breath. Having trust and faith that with space and time our heart will regulate slowly Breath will tap from the chest into the belly. We finish the practice with a little bit of box breath. So breathing in for a count of 4, holding a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4. So I'll do one example. I like to imagine drawing a square visually to help me concentrate. So I'll do this, hopefully you can see me in a reflection of the mirror. So exhale as you prepare. Inhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Sorry, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that one more time. In 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. One more together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I did that wrong, so we'll delete that. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Do this one more time in your own breath. Deep breath. Exhale through the mouth. Let it go. Shuffle the hips towards the side. Bring the feet to touch. Knees nice and wide. Lengthen through the spine. If you find that your back is really rounding, you can sit on a block or find this lengthening. This is called your butterfly pose. You can bring the feet nice and wide. If that resonates with you, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. You don't have to force here, we're just bringing the energy back down. Just holding the poses for a couple of minutes. Feeding into the hips, the back of the spine with each breath. The muscles, the space between the ribs, tissues, the fascia are all stretching with each exhale. Focusing that space into the hips, noticing with the weight of the knees. You are about halfway through, you can bring the elbows onto the shins. Knees to just open through that space. And gently roll the vertebrae at a time up and the head to roll back, lengthening through the legs, pressing through the feet as the knees come together, extending the legs. Take the hands behind you, just find a little bit of a rebound, maybe shaking out the hips. Perhaps there's a lot of tension and flow happening here, so you can just press into the thighs. Get that chi flow up and down. to lie on your back. Just going to do a couple minute hold in our bridge pose. We did opening up the hips in an external rotation way, but now we're going to bring our hip opener at the front lateral of the hips. So taking your hips up, pressing the feet to the ground to support the hips up, and placing the block underneath the lower spine, maybe lengthening out one leg and the other, palms of the hands up towards the sky, finding your heart center to open up. Perhaps you take your hands on the block if you want to work on a little bit more activation, still keeping it a bit smoother as we are in our yin section. Just a few breaths here. And we'll count you when you're about halfway through your posture, your hold. By introducing some time and space here, we allow the muscles to completely unwind, release trauma, tension, emotions. Stuff is all natural, is a part of us. It needs to flow through the body. We just need to give it its time and space to be released. Gently thinking about moving out, so pressing into the heels and the back of the hands and the arms, placing the feet onto the floor, peel the hips up towards the sky, bringing the block towards the floor. So now we're going to come into our final resting push-up, Shavasana. You can take the left hand onto the heart, right hand onto the belly. Maybe just taking about a few minutes here, however long you would like to take your Shavasana. Focusing on the pressing of the back of the body into the floor, and at the same time how the support of the mat, the ground, holds you. Take a deep breath in altogether, release slowly. Let go of your practice. And bringing your awareness back to the sound of my voice. Perhaps making some intuitive movements in the body to find a full body stretch. Maybe bring the feet in, knees into center, give yourself that nice, well-deserved hug. And roll yourself onto whatever side feels good. And with time, there's no rush. Gently place yourself back up into a seated position. You can come to sit on your shins. Bringing back your focus to how you felt at the beginning of this little taster class. How you feel now, bringing yourself back to your intention. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to know more, have more in-depth practices, freshly ones once a week, updated, click on my membership. I will also be sharing some blogs that I think are just quite beneficial of things that I personally learned with sleeping problems, stuff about the microbiome, your eating habits and fasting, all those little things, hacks of a healthier, more balanced lifestyle will be on my website, as well as extra information on upcoming retreats and workshops and deals like that. So I hope I do see you on my platform.